Hey, 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 everybody, how are you doing? So, welcome to this month's live stream. We are streaming live on YouTube. We are streaming live on Facebook. We are streaming live on Instagram. So, we have a three-way stream going on. So, please let us know what platform you're looking this on, you're watching us on. Let us know your name. Let us know where in the world you are. Let us know you are live. Let us know what bass guitar you are playing. I'm going to have a look at those in just a second, and I'm really looking forward to spending about the next half an hour, 40 minutes with you. So, this live stream is called How to Hear and Play Your Favorite Songs. So we're going to be talking about how to improve your musical ear so you can play songs intuitively from your head. We've got a bunch of pre-submitted questions which I will go through as well, but I would love you to be asking questions in your respective chat. I've got my wonderful team here, EJ and Martin. They will be keeping an eye on the chat and feeding me questions and responding to you, so please do interact with them. But I'm going to go and have a look at some of the chat feeds right now and just see where we are. So I'm going to have a look at YouTube, and I just want to say, hey, Clay Johnston, Adrian Stevens, hey, Aid, good to see you. John Dayton, good to see you too. Hey Clay, it is good to see you too. I play a Fender Custom Shop 1959 P bass. That is beautiful. I might talk about this P bass in a little while during this chat as well. So Donna 4-string P bass. Yeah, I've heard good things about them. YouTube, Ibanez Micro. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to head over to Instagram. Things are a little quiet on Instagram, so let us know you are live in Instagram. Oh, they're coming in right now. Sire M7 as well. Amia's Page from Danio from Madrid. I hope I pronounced that right. And I'm going to just head over to Facebook as well. So let's just say hello to the guys on Facebook. Hey James, Bridgewater in Somerset. Yes, you're not too far from here. Yes, I have a P bass. With the P basses in the threads today, I'm going to have to talk about this one a little bit later. So because it's sort of just kind of come back into my life for a little while, and I'll tell you the story in a moment. But we are talking all about how to hear and play your favorite bass lines. Now, reason behind this live stream is because on September the 9th, and I'm going to put the screen up right now, we are going to be relaunching our program called Hear It, Play It over at eBassGuitar. This is a bass line. This is a program which, as the name suggests, is all about hearing and playing your favorite bass lines. And I'm going to talk you through the 4 pillars which will enable you to hear and play your favorite bass lines as we go through. If you'd like to find out more about the Hear It, Play It program, we're going to put a link in the chat right now. And it is ebassguitar.com/hippie, HIPI. So click that link when it goes into the chat. If you type that into your web browser as well, ebassguitar.com/hippie, you'll go straight to the proposal that we're putting together, so you can find out all about it. But I want to head over and I want to answer a question. Before I get deep into Hippie, I want to answer a question. And please put your questions in the chat. I love answering questions on the fly intuitively. I love you guys challenging me. I love it when I never quite know where it's going to go. So I'm going to head on over here. Okay, so this is from Sarah Johnson. What role do scales play in becoming a better bass player? Oh, what a question. What a banger to start this one with. So scales are the backbone of music. And they also feature in the Hear It, Play It course as well, but we do a version of it called Applied Technique in there, where I show you how to make music out of scales. But scales are the fundamental language, like our alphabet, I would say, behind music. If you know your scales, you know the fundamental patterns which lie within them. And so I'm going to just talk a little bit about the Hear It Play It program here, because there are 4 pillars to this, and I'm going to relate it back to this question in just a second. We're going to go for about 40 minutes or so tonight, and then I'm going to have a stiff drink after that. So let me start off. So, Hear It Play It. Believe it or not, I started off life not having a very good musical ear. It was something I was really nervous about it. I was really weak with it. I was really unconfident. And this was at the start of my time at music college. And what happened in my time at music college through to the early years of me being a young professional bass player is I started off with a very bad, embarrassing musical ear. I really was very insecure about it. And then over that time, I gained a professional grade, I would say, musical ear. Most situations do not freak me out. My ear will take care of me in about 95-98% of ordinary musical situations. And I got asked for a period of time, James, can you teach us ear training? And it was something I was reticent to do because I had all these feelings from back when I was a young bass player, 20 or whatever, 18, younger, of not really knowing what the heck I was doing. And it didn't come naturally to me. And I looked at the process of what happened. How did I go from being this guy, which really is very insecure about this subject, through to someone who's, to all intents and purposes, very confident with it? And I looked at the skills I gained at music college, and I looked at how I did it, and I realized there were 4 pillars to this. And really, when bass players, so many that I've seen start trying to improve their musical ear, they only just focus on one of these. And I'm going to relate this back to the question that we had in just a second. But the 4 pillars here, and if you open up the PDF that comes with this, if you go eBassGuitar.com/hippie, I'm literally typing it in now so I can have the PDF in front of me. The 4 pillars of this are applied technique. The bottom line is you're never going to play any of the songs or the bass lines in your head if you don't have a decent working applied technique. All right, so your brain tells your fingers what to do. The second thing you need is musicianship and ear development. This is typically where most bass players go in and start off learning this stuff. You do need to know what the interval of a major third sounds like. You need to know what a fifth is. You need to know what a 1-4-5 chord sequence is. You need to know what a 2-5-1 is. You need to know what these sound like and be able to recognize them. This is important stuff, but it's not everything. Now, this is where it gets a bit more interesting. One of the things I did at music college is I played a lot of songs and a lot of bass lines in that period of time. Now, I learned a lot of different styles of music, and this is where the bass line and stylistic knowledge came in. When you start playing a lot of different styles, you start to know the common bass lines that you find within those styles. Then you can start to predict fairly accurately what's coming along. And that is a very common thing within every genre of music. There are certain bass lines, if you're playing a soul tune, a rock tune, etc., that you will see time and time again, and certain techniques used to create them. And so playing music led by your ear isn't some kind of crazy voodoo magic or something like that. It's quite systematic, it's quite logical, all right? It's about training your ears to do the right things. And also knowing what to expect. If you know what to expect, you become very good at being able to predict. And then the last thing is song mastery. I must have played hundreds of songs, hundreds of pieces of music within my time at music college, if not thousands, I would say. And you start to see the commonalities, all right? there is certain chord sequences which you will see time and time again. You'll go, right, this song has this chord sequence, this song has this chord sequence, okay? This is another 1, 6, 4, 5 chord sequence. For instance, hold on, wait a moment, this has this song, okay? Wait a moment, this one does too. And you just start to see it, and there are only 12 notes in music, and they replicate time and time again. So those are the 4 pillars of this. And let me know if that makes sense in the chat there. Adrian Stevens says, I was on the last hippie and thoroughly enjoyed the course. Great to hear that. Great to hear that. So to go back to the question here of how do scales relate to this? This is our applied technique. And you can start off by going something like a simple G major scale. I'm going to play the G major. And take it into a second octave. Like that. Great exercise, great technical exercise, really fundamental, really important. But where does the music sit within that particular scale? And one of the things we do in the hippie course is we start to break the scales apart into the patterns that we play day to day as bass players. And one of the early exercises, or drills rather, that I do with the students in the course is we start putting it into thirds. So we would do, okay, like so. And I'll explain exactly how this works, but here's the crucial thing, is when you play this, you have the pattern of a major third under there. Really important bass lines. You also have that sound. And then here, the minor. And then here, another minor interval. So you're starting to tune your ears into what major, happy, minor, minor, sounds like. Back to the major, major, minor, minor, and then major to finish off like that. So this is what I mean by applied technique here. So the 3 things we have nestled within there. We have a great technical exercise here. All right. We have a really great musicality exercise within here, musicianship. All those majors and minor thirds, they're all part of bass lines. And then we have a great fretboard knowledge in there as well. So we're improving 3 things, and we're doing it in a real world thing. So it's not just dry, technical, boring exercises. We show you how to make music out of them. And this is the important thing. So in answer to the question of Sarah Johnson, how important are scales in music? Scales are really important, okay? But it turns into how do you practice them? How do you make them musical? How do you get that important information out of them so it makes a real difference in your bass playing? So that's the really important thing there. And so that's the first pillar. I'll talk about the other three pillars rather, as we go through this live stream. But I want to check in on the chat. So let us know that you're there. I'm going to I love this. James, what bass guitar are you playing right now? And if you could own any bass, what it would be? That was from someone, that's from Sean over in Swansea. Let me talk about this. I have 3 bass guitars here, which aren't mine actually. I'm going to be quite frank about these, but they're coming to my life for a video that we're making on the 3 most important basses in the history of music, and I would say, and we have the Fender P bass here. Over here, I have a Fender Jazz bass. I'll show you this. I'll show you all 3 in a sec. Why not? And I've got the Music Man Stingray here bass. Now this bass guitar here actually belongs to my dad, and he's lent it to me for a few weeks whilst we make this video. And this is his 1972 Precision bass, and it's really interesting. I've never really been into vintage instruments before. That's the interesting thing, and I'm starting to get a bit of a taste for it because this is a vintage instrument now, and believe it or not, I won't go into specifics of numbers or anything like that, but they've become quite valuable in the last year, last few years anyway, particularly these 70s basses. So much so it's actually a little bit buzzy in places. There. And it's due for a refret. And the one thing that I've learned recently is that refretting a vintage instrument doesn't devalue it. Changing significant stuff around it does, refinishing it, etc. But in the vintage guitar market, making sure they're playable is really important. So they're not just sort of antiques sitting on your wall. But I haven't really played this bass much in about 15 years. I did, however, use it when I used to work on the Queen show We Will Rock You. I used to dep or sub, depending where you are in the world, for the great bass player Neil Murray on that. And this was the bass that I used because John Deacon used a precision bass for about 90% of all the Queen music. And it has that beautiful rock sound. It has that really great clanky sound. It's got a set of new strings on it as well, which I really like. Like so. And I also fitted a drop D extender on this as well. I do have the original, before anybody panics that I'm devaluing the bass, I do have the original tuning key as well, tuning peg as well, so it's all okay. But I love this on the PV. To drop that down to a D is lovely. Like so, it's a great sound, and it's I'm really looking forward to having the guys in the music shop near me are going to do a refret on it and that kind of stuff to get this beautiful bass actually back in full working condition as well. So yeah, this is really interesting. How does hearing the music in your head before playing improve your musical performance, and can you train the skill? Yeah, 100%. So part of what I teach in Hear It Play It, the hippie program, is I teach a concept called the 6 musical senses here. And part of this is how you conceptualize music in your head. And so how you think about music, that is really important. And one of the things I realized that I did is when I'm also hearing bass lines in my head, I'm also seeing them as well. It's like an old-fashioned computer game, like Space Invaders going on there. And so the 6 musical senses are really important. There are 3 of them. If you take the course, I'll go into them in detail. There are 3 of them which are internal. There are 3 of them which are external. So the external ones that we look at is what does something sound like? Okay, using our ears. What is the noise that it makes? That's really important. Then we look at what does it look like on the fretboard? Okay, because we have this incredibly beautiful visual instrument here. Which is much more visual than many other instruments, it has to be said. We can create all these wonderful shapes, wonderful patterns on there. So a bass line like that, which I just played there, pure box shape minor pentatonic. Okay, so that has a real good shape on there. What does it feel like? This is kinesthetics as well. So like it feels like we were shifting around the neck. This has a feeling to it. There are mechanics to it. All right. So they're quite 3 relatively obvious, I'd say, external senses. And then these are the internal ones that we start working on in the course, which are really interesting. So visualization, what does it look like? Okay. All right. Pitching. Can you hear bass lines in your head? Can you hear intervals? Okay. Can you imagine what they sound like? Okay, now that's a bit crazy, isn't it? But it's a skill that we can taught. And then singing. So this is really important. Singing is the link between the eyes, the ears, the hands, and everything that pulls it together. So we get you singing as well. So there's 6 of these musical senses, the SMS, and this is all part of it. And so we get you visualizing chord sequences and that kind of stuff. So in the musicianship module, I get you learning chord sequences. Now, earlier, let me show you a little bit how this works. Okay, so I've taken a really simple song today, just to just to show you this stuff. This isn't actually a song from the course, but I heard it on the radio the other day, and I thought it was a good way of just explaining this to you guys. How this works. So we've looked at a G major scale today. If you're playing along, got your bass, get that under your hands. So 2-4, 1-2-4, 1-3-4. Okay. And we are going to look at the chord sequence to Knocking on Heaven's Door. I took the Guns N' Roses one, but it's all much of the same thing, really. And the chord sequence to the introduction and the chorus is just a really simple 1-5-4 chord sequence. And what I get you doing is looking at music as in shapes and imagining these shapes in your head. And so you can start feeling it. And we're going to go chord 1, chord 5, chord 4. And I want you to imagine that 1, 5, 4. And you hear that shape go 1, big jump, 5, and then down a smaller jump, like so. And I'm just going to do this with a very simple bass line, like that. And I want you to hear that shape. And it all comes directly from this G major scale. So very simple, very straightforward, but this is the foundation of it. Okay, so this is just a backing track with a chord. 1, 5, 4. I'm literally just going to give this bass a tune. I think it just went a little bit out when I used the drop D, so I'm just going to check my intonation. You can see this is live. This is how it happens sometimes. So I actually put a cheeky fill there in at the end here. So this is, we go through lots of fundamental chord sequences like this one. And then the other chord sequence which is in it is 1, 5, chord 2. I have that A minor chord in there. 1, 5, 4, like that. So I want you to think of that shape which is in there. I can see some questions in the chat coming in. I'm going to answer those live in a second. But let me just show you this. Hold on, get the right track up. So I'm giving you just a sense of this visualization at the moment, of seeing these shapes here. When I teach this stuff in the Hear It Play It course, we always do something of starting off with a track, then we take it apart. I've done it the other way around just to make things clearer and more obvious in this live stream. But we will start getting you listening, we'll get you leading your ear, and then we start playing it, and then we discuss it. Rather than discussing it, and then trying to play it, and then performing it. A little bit round the other way, but this is designed to improve our musical ear. Okay, number 1, Bing Brightonian. I'm thinking of putting some heavy flats on my Stingray, 55, 70, 90 and 105. I want a fuller, deeper sound, but I'm worried my hands won't cope. Well, funny you should mention this. One of the basses I have here is a Stingray, and I'm going to grab it out. So this belongs to a wonderful guy called Mike in Southampton, because I wanted a proper, authentic Stingray. And here is the bass. So this has the beautiful humbucking pickup in here. So I'm going to... Now I love the sound of these basses, because they were the proper first kind of big, fat, wonky sounds. So this will demonstrate the real sound of the Stingray bass to you guys. Just 1, 2, 1. I'm going to give you a different camera as well. 1, 2, 1. So there you go, that was me having some fun with the Freak, with the strap falling off all over the place. I might even put the strap on, it does help life a little bit. And so what I would say in answer to your question about putting some heavier flats on it, try it, see what happens in there. Someone may be able to correct me on this, but I think Bernard Edwards, did he use flat wound strings? It was someone quite surprising like that did on the Stingray. I would need to double check and clarify that, but I would try it. One thing is with the Stingray, you do have your drum control, but you've got your bass control. You have a phenomenal amount of low end on this. This is the first ever bass guitar with an active circuit in it. And they used to put it all in epoxy resin as well, I believe, or they'd shrink wrap it somehow so the circuit wouldn't get out to other manufacturers at the time. So I would try it. I think it would sound huge on there. I actually use lighter gauge Tomastic flat wound strings because I like the slight rubber bandiness of them, sort of lower tension, I wouldn't say, rather than lighter gauge actually. I prefer that to the labellas or whatever. That's my personal taste. I really like the sound of that. So try those as well, the Tomastics. But you can always go back with a set of strings and see what happens. And it has that beautiful crispy top end for... Now, another question. Have you got any tips on getting the third finger on my fretting hand to do what it wants? Yeah. Yes. Right. The third finger. What this is just discipline of practicing this. It's not sexy, I'm going to be straight. But start to do these exercises here. And get really systematic. But what you can do is this next one is you can lock your third finger down on another string. And then, so if you're doing one finger per fret type exercises, I'll go in on this so you can see what I'm doing. Like that. But we're going to go 1, 2, 4, 2. Like that. And then if you want to put a bit more of a stretch in there, make it a bit more uncomfortable, go onto the A string there. Try playing that note. That's weird, isn't it? And then if you want to make it really hard, and you can do it with your fourth finger. Let me just get my fourth finger. Like that. So you can do it with your fourth, you can start doing these, and it would just start to get the interdependence together there. So there's some great exercises. Cool. Hey Paul, who's changed over from one of the other platforms, which course would it be best to start with? Now we're talking about Hear It Play It, so obviously Hear It Play It is the best course because we do have a country-based module in there because you say mostly country. So I mean that's slightly tongue-in-cheek. It's a great course from that perspective, and you could check out the other students who have taken it as well. Over at eBassGuitar, if you're starting out, check out the Bass Lab Plus. The full beginners course is really good for that as well. Now what we would do is we'll take a chord sequence like Knocking on Heaven's Door, and we will go through various concepts to create bass lines. And I'm just going to start off with like the simplest, and we're just going to use roots and fifths. So doom. I'm just going to do that again. So this up. Check my tuning on this because I kid you not, I'm in 28 degrees in here, so it's playing havoc with some of the tunings on these instruments. Cool. So we're going to just do a root and fifth bass. And then I will add a root, fifth and octave, and I show you how to build these patterns up. So let's go. Hold on, I need the right intro. I'm just going to do it. Sorry, I'm going to do it over the the introduction, not verse. So really simple root and fifth octave, root fifth bass line. Now I'm going to show you how to put the root, the fifth and the octave in there. So really fundamental stuff to get you listening to these bass lines and hearing such common patterns. There you go. So that is just messing around with roots, fifths and octaves, and we tell you how to hear those, how to install those into your bass playing. So that's it. And then the final pillar of this is song mastery, where we get you to play the whole song from beginning to end. But here's the thing. You're working from the chord sequence, you're working using your ear. There's no tab in sight, or you're not learning it from tablature or anything like this. So you're creating your own bass lines. Let me go back to that camera. So you're creating your own bass lines within this. That is the really, really crucial thing, is you're in control. You know what you're doing. You're starting to play the bass lines in your head because we have skills to do that. Now, if you want to check out the Hear It Play It course, here goes. These are the links that you need. You need to go to eBassGuitar.com/hippie. If you'd like to talk to me about it, you can go to eBassGuitar hippie/cool and you can book yourself in for a slot in my calendar. And we can decide if it's for you, and I'll go into the 6 musical senses in more depth with you in the 4 pillars, and so you can see the structure of the course, because it's very, very clearly thought through. And that I would love to talk to you. So please do go to ebassguitar.com/hippie. I learn almost every rhythm from a bass rhythm book. How can I apply everything I learn in a song? So from a rhythm book, I'm curious what a bass rhythm book is. I actually don't know the answer to that. I'm very transparent. If I don't know the answer to something in this world, I will say. So is this a book with just rhythms for the bass in there? Or is it more of a method book or like that? The critical thing is, if you take my course like Hippie, I will pull it back to this, is we show you how to use the rhythms. We show you how to use the grooves. We show you how to use the note choices so that you can make bass lines that work. And so it is a practical application at all times. And that's the most important thing of doing this. I'd love to know if you could give us more depth on what a bass rhythm book is. I'd be really interested, and I'd be very interested to see it as well. SG Engineering Services. There we go. Do you play octaves with your 3rd or your 4th finger? We've got about 5 minutes left. I'm going to go back to the other camera. I'm going to show you one more bass, because I'm going to tie this into there. I've got a nice silent switching jack from Neutrix here, by the way, which is quite useful for moments like this. So let's go down here, and I have one more bass here to show you, and this belongs to a lovely bass player near me, top pro, called Pat, this is his 70s jazz bass, and it's a heavy old beast, this one. And I think someone tell me in the chat, what year did block inlays come in, because this is a beautiful, beautiful bass. So it's 1975, I think, it was sometime around there. But we have the Fender. It's got super low action on this. I'm going to take it up when we film a little bit. It has that wonderful sound you can do hit me with your rhythm stick with. Let's just take it down. Do it again. 1, 2, 1, dance. I'm going to have another tune, because let me just have another tune. This weather is playing havoc, or the temperature of this room is playing havoc with all the basses. Lovely, lovely bass line. I've forgotten it. And then it also has that other great classic jazz bass sound as well. So that's the sound. So yeah, no, in answer to that, so a Jacko bass line, kind of inspired by Jacko, that was Norman Watroy, Hit With Your Rhythm Stick by Injuring the Blockheads. Check that bass line out, one of the greatest lines or ever. It's even better if I've warmed up as well properly, but... Okay, Omar said it's a groove method book called Grooves for Electric Bass by Dafif Keith. Okay, cool, let me check that out. I will screenshot that before we go. Cool. So the question I had here, the last one, was do I use my third or my fourth finger for octaves? Truth is I use both, but more often than not I will probably use 1 and 4 because I trained as a double bass player and I learnt the Samandal technique as an upright double bass player, which is 1, 2, 4, and having that technique and going between the two instruments, I can do both, but I find it simpler to do that. I just find it a little bit more comfortable under the hands, like so. You can see I can do it. Like that. So it's completely up to you. I prefer 1 and 4 because of my history as an upright player, but the choice is yours. I find it more comfortable down there. I tend to go into 1 and 3. This is a proper sounding Fender jazz bass. It's lovely. Love this bass. Yeah, I hope that has answered the questions. Now we've come to the end of this live stream. If you've enjoyed this and you want to get on with Hear It, Play It, I'm going to check the rest of the chats in a moment, but guys, and I'm going to check that I haven't missed any other questions here as well. Please head over to eBassGuitar.com/hippie, HIPI. Link in the chat. We're starting on September the 9th. I would love you guys to jump on and be part of the fun. There are only 16 spots for the intake, so please do check it out. Please do book your call with me. Please do join the program. And I'm just going to go back through the various chats. Look, thank you everybody for being part of today's live stream. Thank you everybody for being part of the fun today. I'm going to put the basses back and basses back down and say goodbye to everybody. But thank you for being part of it. Please do check out Hear It, Play It. Let's put this on the final screen right there. So that is the links. They are the links for Hear It, Play It. If you want to find out more, I would love to talk to you. You can talk to me personally and I will go through, I will spend time with you and make sure it is the right fit for you. So guys, thank you for spending the last hour with me. It's been really fun spending Friday night with you guys. And I will see you again next month or the month afterwards for another live stream. Talk to you so very soon. Cheers. Bye bye.